Well, welcome to Global Vision. I'm very happy to have here with us Don Markland, and he is an amazing coach. And we just want to know how we grow people and how we grow businesses. And that's the conversation that we're going to have with you today. Welcome, Don.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it. I love what you're doing and the voice that you're giving to people so they can learn about some of these ways to get better and improve themselves. It's really cool.
Wonderful. So I would like to know what got you interested in coaching? What's your background?
So it started, years ago. I was in my mid 20s. I was a successful executive, and I was running a call center company where I was vice president of sales operations, and my beautiful wife, 3 kids. I was about 70 pounds heavier than I am now. I was always going to Taco Bell and all these things. And even though I was successful, I wasn't happy. I was
Mm.
struggling. And it was shortly after there one night I was on a road trip like I usually was. And I was frustrated with my life. And I thought, you know what? I need to have different clarity. So I created my own personal program for me. It's called the 4 C's of accountability, but it's selfish. It wasn't for other people. It was just, I need to be better. I'm miserable. I'm not happy. And as I started to live my program, the 4 C's of accountability, amazing things happened. I lost weight. I saw my wife and kids more, and my wife liked the thinner me, which was a huge bonus. And my businesses started to grow. And as I taught it to people, and over the years, I continued to talk about the 4 C's and work with people on it. And all of a sudden, I find myself implementing it in every business I was with, and we would grow significantly. And it was shortly here recently, a couple of years ago, Forbes was kind enough to pick up an article that I'd written online about the 4 C's. They published it, and then they put me on their podcast. And all these people started connecting with me saying, how do we do that? How do we do what you did? And I built my coaching practice off of that. And now I help people all over the world, not only with accountability and mindset, but growing their business and kind of reach scalable numbers so they can live the life they want.
Beautiful. And tell us about accountability now, your company, and what is the 4 C's?
So accountability now, that's my coaching business, and that's the
Mm.
idea. That's the logo right here. The idea behind it is um, accountability, as Bob Proctor quoted. He said, "Accountability is the glue that ties commitment to results." And so, if you really understand that, you can achieve anything in your business from sales, marketing, leadership, anything, if you just really start to understand how I use accountability. And one of the things that people misunderstand all the time, and I misunderstood it for years, is I thought accountability is only negative, right? I only need to hold somebody accountable when they stink. And that's wrong. Accountability is the glue that ties commitment to results. Accountability, I should hold you accountable every time you do something well, every time you struggle, every time you make mistakes. You should be held accountable every time, and you should get credit for the wins and the losses, which helps you push yourself to be better. And the 4 C's is a model in how to do that.
Okay. And can you tell us what means that the four
Four
C's?
C's, yeah,
Yes.
yes, absolutely, I can, right? So the first C is called critique success. Or in
Mm.
other words, do it better every time. I don't want you to rest on your laurels or pat yourself on the back, break your wrist, pat yourself on the back. I want you to stop and say, how can I do this better every time? What do I have to do? Who do I need to surround myself that'll tell me the truth that I can make it better every time, even when I nail it? Secondly, is I'm going to choose you to tell you to correct failure. You know as well as I do with all the
Mm.
work that you've done that you have to take risks, you have to make mistakes, you have to be
Definitely.
willing to do that. And so I'm not going to punish mistakes. I'm going to correct them. When you
Mm.
screw up, you're going to stop and look at it and correct it so you can do it
I
better.
love that corrected. That's the
That's
different
right.
word. It has a different weight.
Exactly. Okay. Not punish you. Just find the decision that you made wrong, check your data and correct it. And now let's roll. The third thing is we're going to celebrate growth. The hardest thing to do in this life is grow. You know this from your personal development work. And so that's the hardest thing you'll ever do. And when I want somebody to get better, right? I want them to choose the harder path. Like if we were in the weight room together, or like my injured knee, you know this, we talked about it. The most important rep is the last rep, the hard one, the one I chose when I couldn't do anymore, because that's what ripped the muscle and made me stronger. We're going to celebrate those choices. We're going to celebrate when you choose hard, as opposed to celebrate success, because I expect you to be successful. And why would I celebrate meeting expectations? That's silly.
Yeah.
I want to choose hard when you choose hard, we're going to celebrate it. And the last thing is uh, crush mediocrity. When
Mm.
you we're all infected with mediocrity, all of us. But when you see it, I want you to take the approach like we do here in Florida, like we do with our bugs. We have huge bugs here in Florida, just
I know.
it's enormous. It doesn't matter how clean your house is, you have huge bugs. And when we see a bug, we crush it with everything we've got, right? You just slam it down. And the reason why is, and you know this, if you don't crush a bug, they'll come back with all their friends and hang out because they know you're a wimp. I want the same mentality with the mediocrity in your life. When you see it, when you smell it, when you discover it, you crush it with the mentality of, I have to stop this now and get yourself to be better.
Well, this is golden insights. And how to apply that into a business? How do you help a business to grow and thrive and build a legacy?
So there's a piece that I teach, which is called Sales Solves All Sins. Okay.
Mm,
Okay.
I
And
love
so,
that.
so many businesses think, well, I've got too much expense, or I've got this problem, or I got this problem. You only have one problem, not enough sales. That's the problem. And I don't care if it's a nonprofit or getting fundraising sales, or if you're a hospital, whatever it is, you need more sales at prices high enough. And so what we're going to do is we apply that accountability to everybody on the team, thinks about sales and growth every day. I don't care if you're an accountant, IT, janitor, or a frontline sales rep. The most important thing we're here to do is to get sales. Everybody's on that team, everybody's on that page, and we're going to be accountable to it and apply the 4 C's to our thought process, our strategy, and how we build sales over time.
And do you see any kind of difference when you grow a person and when you grow a business, or is something that goes together?
They go together, sure, but growing people, there's a phrase I use, which is you have to go slow, like you have to go slow to go fast, right? Or Stephen Covey taught it with growing individuals, fast is slow and slow is fast, right? That was the way he said it.
Yeah.
It takes time to develop people. It absolutely does. I can't just expect you to be a great leader in a month. It's through years of mistakes and growth that you become. But growing a business is different. Growing a business is math. Do I have the right leads coming in? Do I have the right marketing efforts? Do I have the right approach to those, like a net, to be able to catch those with the right conversations to convince them to come on board? I can do that relatively quickly, but to make it scalable and growing at a really fast rate, that's where you're going to need good, talented people. And that's where they kind of go together.
And what role the habits play in order to get your A game together?
The most important thing I start with all of my clients, whether they're a Fortune 500 CEO or
Mhm.
an entrepreneur with an idea on a napkin, we start in the same place, which is your morning routine.
Mm.
Everybody has to have a strong morning routine that's theirs, that they love, that invigorates them and excites them every single day. And we build those for you and we work together on it. And then we're accountable to, if you win the morning, you're going to win the day. And that is the most important habit that you could do today. Any of your listeners could do today and start to change their life.
You guys listen what he's saying. We need to build a morning routine. It makes, operates wonders.
That's
I
right.
give faith of it. So tell me, what is exactly a chief revenue officer? Because you are called like that. What that means?
Yeah, the chief revenue officer in my business, accountability now, I kind of go to market as the rent a CRO or rent a chief revenue officer. A chief revenue officer, it was built out of Silicon Valley about 10 years ago with these startups. And
Mhm.
it is taking the idea of sales and marketing and bridging it together. So one
Oh,
executive oversees the strategic and execution details of everything related to revenue. So if it's a sales effort, if it's an upsell effort, if it's a marketing effort, if it's an expansion effort, the chief revenue officer owns that strategy and execution all the way down. And it kind of bridges. You've seen this, sales and marketing love to fight against each other all
yeah,
the time.
totally.
Yeah. Well, chief revenue officer says, hey, no, I'm playing Solomon here. We're on the same team because you both report to me. Let's grow this thing.
And what makes your methodology special from other coaches in the market?
There are many coaches, and many of them are very successful, but a lot of coaches go into coaching because they couldn't do anything else. They started to just I'm going to be a coach because I wasn't successful here, or I've become a Tony Robbins certified or Brendan Burchard certified, so now I'm going to be a coach. Well, my method is a little bit different. Whereas I didn't go seek out coaching, coaching sought out me
Mm.
because I was building businesses. I've already had 2 that I've sold, and I have ownership in 3 businesses still currently. And I work in the front lines running a businesses today. So I coach because I am in that same shoes. I know what it is to be a small business. I know what it takes to grow it from 0 to 5 million. I know what it takes to grow it from 36 million to 90 million, and to work with boards and sell and all those things. And that's my method. Is I'm one of you. We're on the same tribe. We know the same language. I'm not teaching theory from some hypothetical deal. This is real tactical, practical, and actionable methods that will work.
You walk the walk. So
That's right.
and you help others to just go there. And what kind of, tell me 3 books that you think that every entrepreneur should read.
The first book should be, everyone starts with this on my team, the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. You've heard that before. It's
Yeah,
very powerful.
I have it. Yeah.
Yes. The second book is High Performance Habits by Burchard. Okay. That's more of a personal development book, but when you merge those together, it can do a lot. And then the third one, you have to read The 4 C's of Accountability, my book. You've got to read that because it ties both of those all in together to how to make it stick.
Beautiful. And just to conclude, what kind of skills you believe that leaders of today should have to navigate the current times?
You have to be thinking virtual. You have to think, how do I lead virtually, incentivize virtually, coach virtually, hire virtually, right? This mentality of I can do it like the old days, meaning 2019, okay? But I can do it like the way it was before, you're clueless. Everything's virtual and everything's going to be more virtual. So if you don't know how to lead virtually, or to run team meetings in a Zoom environment, or to coach virtually, or provide incentive plans that are virtual. We just rolled out Netflix subscriptions for one of my sales teams because that was a virtual benefit that they really loved. And so you have to be thinking that way, not backwards. Why would you go back to the horse and buggy? Think forward, think in automobiles, like think virtually, and you'll be successful.
Thank you so much, Don. And for sure, your book is coming here. So
Beautiful.
Thank you so much for being with us today. I think that for all people in business, it's a time that we need people like you that could help us to just move forward and always think big the way that you do it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.